that we believe changed our lives, it will seldom, if ever, become transformative. It's a good thing, and we may have learned a valuable life lesson, but that's not transformation. Transformation occurs when you have an experience that changes the way you understand life and its mysteries. When my dad died, I immediately looked for the leather journal I had given him years before, with the request that he fill it with stories and things he wanted me to know. He had only written on one page. Anything I have achieved or accomplished in my life is because of the gift of your mother as my wife. You should get to know her. I thought I knew her, but I followed his advice, and it was one of the most transformative experiences of my life. From a place of vulnerability and generosity, each author in this series invites us to walk with them for 40 days on their journeys toward transformation. I hope you will not limit your reading to only your number. Read about your spouse or a friend. Consider reading about the type you suspect represents your parents or your siblings. You might even want to read about someone you have little affection for, but are willing to try to understand. You can never change how you see, but you can change what you do with how you see. On being a 6. When I began my journey with the Enneagram, I had no idea how transformative the work would be. Like many, I assumed the Enneagram was another personality test that we'd all use to label the front of our desks at work until the next behavioral fad rolled in. Others told me this was a different kind of journey, but I was skeptical. Then my dear friends Allie and Joel Deckard shared passionately about how the Enneagram had been a formative tool in their faith development. My curiosity drove me to begin digging deep. When I discovered I was a 6, I didn't want to be one. I felt small. In a world that crowns courage, achievement, success, and winning, I hated that 6s were motivated by something so negative. I hated that I was marked by fear. I am a pastor, and I know what the Bible says about fear. It says, do not fear. Some point out that the command not to fear appears 365 times, one for every day of the year. If we believe this, then perhaps 6s are the most rebellious of all the Enneagram types. You might even say I'm a hypocrite, because I have preached countless sermons on fear. The truth is, as an Enneagram 6, I am no stranger to fear. When I first began to read about this reality, it resonated with me deeply, but it also made me feel small and inferior. I felt so exposed. But the Enneagram journey doesn't have to end with discovering our type, especially not if we are Christ followers. The Christian story is a rolling story of redemption, grace, love, transformation, and healing. The beauty is that God sees us as we are, loves us as we are, and invites us to deeper living in God's power. I have no idea where I would be without Jesus. Whether by nature, nurture, or both, I was formed into an Enneagram 6. I was molded into my 6ness by the world around me, family trauma, heartache, and pain. I lived through abuse, abandonment, and loss. I believe that had I not met Jesus, my life would be spiraling out of control as I reacted to my own fears through self-sabotage, addictions, projections, and reactions. But instead, I have met Jesus. And instead, through countless means of grace, I am being formed into the likeness of Jesus. Yes, I am an Enneagram 6, but God is redeeming me. Although there are shadow sides, vices, and idols that 6s get tangled up in,